Supervisor Stroud, seconded by Supervisor Hogan. Wayne?
I just have one resolution request here for the committee. It's in your packet. I sent them down. I don't. It's a request to change a funding source or a match for one of the grants. It amounted to $1,500. Was an expense that was not eligible due to a time period, so we're just shifting some of the match. It's more just a housekeeping.
Great.
Funds have already been expensed. I'll move that, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. All of those, can I get any discussion?
This is on the 150,000?
That is exactly correct.
This is not the same, this is a different 150,000 that we already did this sort of maneuver for.
It's part of that same package. We did not use all of that 150, so it's a matter of just shifting, taking a little bit more of that 150 and allocating it, changing the code on it for match. The Treasurer's Office had accepted a match document that actually predated the contract by a week, so we just had to clean it up a little bit in order to be able to submit it for reimbursement.
Great. Can I get a motion to that effect? We have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, the only other thing I'd like to just point out is I believe most of the town supervisors got an email yesterday or the day before from HFTC on the various solicitations. The Make of the Connection program is out there for funding. Towns have to submit an application for that for competitive, but the office, and most notably Chris, has been working with some of the communities on the ADA transition plans. At the HFTC meeting, we all agreed basically that implementation of those transition plans would be an eligible activity under Make the Connection. So if there's remedial actions that need to be taken, some of the sidewalks in the communities, that can come under the Make the Connection program if you have an approved transition plan.
Thank you.
I didn't get an email, so I don't know if you can. I haven't got an email from.
All right.
I think I ever have.
All right, from Aaron Frankenfeld?
Yeah, I wonder if there's.
All right, I'll send it out to Amanda and have her forward it.
Fantastic.
So,
Sounds like a plan.
okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
and this is different than the Transportation Assistance Program that came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
That-
yes.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And the other thing, please send that to us.
Walter, would you be kind enough to maybe, I think, just to make it a little as conversational as possible, and maybe...
I just wanted to report that we held a recent meeting up in Lake George on June 12th. It was well attended by all the counties. New chairman was elected, Dave O'Brien from Hampton. A number of projects were reviewed, including appointments to a governance committee that's going to be taking a look and reviewing and revising bylaws of both the planning board and the loan committee. And I'm meeting with Dave this afternoon, and he expects to be meeting with all the county board chairmen within the next week, and then report out something after following those meetings.
Great. Wonderful.
In the meantime, our loan program is on hold, pending the revision of the bylaws.
Very good. Again, it was a very well-attended meeting. I think it was very informational, and I think most people got some bang for their buck out of that meeting. So, Walter, thank you for that meeting, and it was very thorough and well done. Did anyone on the committee have any questions as it relates to Walter? Supervisor Bramer.
Thanks. Walter, I know you said that the ABO made a determination that the regional planning board itself was not subject to their governance. Is there documentation to that effect?
Yes.
Can I have a copy of that, please? If you
Yes.
send it to Amanda, that would be great.
Anything Anything else? Supervisor
Along
Brammer?
those lines, do you know if the corporation made any determination as to whether they were
Yes,
going
we
to
are
seek the...
we're not going to seek a waiver.
Okay, great.
Can you hear that?
They said they are not seeking the waiver from ABL review.
Supervisor Brammer, are you done?
I'm done.
You are, thank you. Supervisor Beatty?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the time, but I'd like to know what your procedures are in garnering loans that have gone into default. What procedures do you use? You can give me a couple examples of how you've gone after the assets. Did you go to the public, the correct public policy on putting any assets that you did garner up for sale, and so forth? So could you give me a couple of examples of 2 loans that have gone into default and what your procedures were and how you handle that?
Our general procedure is to turn it over to our collection attorney, Mark Leibowitz, and he takes care of all the legalities of following up on collecting what's left over, any assets left over, getting judgments on them.
So if someone puts a house up for collateral, the collection agency goes after the house,
Collection agency, the attorney, our attorney.
your attorney goes after the house. Okay, so can you give me an example where that's occurred? Have you ever had to do that?
Twice.
Pardon me?
Twice, back in the 70s, early to late 70s.
And so and tell me the outcome, walk me through that. So they went after the house, the attorney, I assume you guys got the house, and since that was the collateral and the loan defaulted. So was that house then put up for public auction, or how does that work?
Put up for resale, public auction.
Okay, so can you give me the name of that particular one so I can research it?
I would prefer not to.
Well, isn't that public
I mean,
information?
yeah, I'd have to look back into the records, it's back in the 70s.
Okay, would you please do that and get back to me this week?
All right.
And any other ones that we had to go through that process?
Okay.
Would you send me an email with Mr. McDivitt also and
Yeah.
county administrator and so forth on it, so that in this committee, so that we could look at that and see procedures? So you're saying that all the faults that you've ever had to do have been, you've gone through the correct steps, and there's never been any missteps, and you've been in accordance with all government regulations and policies concerning it. Is that correct?
They're turned over to our legal counsel to take care of that.
The legal counsel is Mark Leibowitz, is that correct? Okay, thanks.
Anyone else on the committee have any questions for Walter? Anyone from the public? Travis, do you have anything? We're not going into executive session again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
That I'm aware of at this point, so.
One final question.
Go ahead.
Walter, what is your understanding as to who, your position as executive director, who authorized that position? Is that the 5 county boards, Walter? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, so the 5 county boards have the authority to put whoever they want, in your case, you as executive director. Do you have that resolution? Because I know you retired in 2012, and then you came back 36 hours later as executive director. Do you have the documentation showing where the 5 county boards determined that you should be the executive director back in 2012?
Back in 2000.
Because you retired in 2012 as a county employee.
I can give you documentation that I sent to the board members on it, yes.
You sent that documentation to us?
Yes.
I apologize I didn't see it, but I don't remember seeing it. So there is a resolution approved by the Lake George Lake Champlain Regional Planning Board that the 5 counties determined that you should be the director of the Lake George Regional Lake Director again in 2012 after you resigned. Is that what you're saying?
It was a letter sent to all the board members informing them of my retirement at the time and to work for a certain period of time as we went into a transition with one of our other employees.
Pardon me, just for clarification, when you say board members, do you mean the board members of the Regional Planning Board or the Board of Supervisors?
All the board members.
of the Regional Planning Board, okay.
But I guess, again, what I'm asking is, do you have the documentation showing that the 5 county boards authorized you to be the regional planning director again in 2012 after you resigned? You're saying yes?
I'm saying I have a copy of a letter that I sent to the board members, informing them of my decision to retire at that time, to work part-time until the transition period developed with one of our other employees.
Okay, so, see, I'm pretty slow. So, you retire, you send off a letter to the board saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to continue working in a part-time capacity, but the 5 regional planning boards never voted to say, hey, you can continue working. Once you retire, you retire. I don't know if you have the authority to say, I'll come back now 36 hours later and continue to work in a part-time capacity without the 5 boards approving that. That's where I think that's where I'm going with this. I mean,
Would it be helpful if Walter would maybe provide something to you in writing that kind of summarizing?
well, I'd like to see the resolution.
Yeah, okay, well,
I'd like to see the documentation from the 5 county boards saying, hey, you can come back in a part-time status, Mr. Young. I don't think we have that.
Okay, well, let's see if he can find it. If he's got it, let's provide it. Michael, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just a quick one on timing. I was at the meeting in Lake George, and I did have to leave early. I was just curious if there was any timing in terms of when the bylaws were going to be drafted. I know Supervisor Stroud, you're part of that, but I didn't know if we had any timing in terms of when we expected some
working on that
bylaws.
yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday.
Supervisor Stroud.
Yes, we did work several hours on them yesterday, and we think we're near a final. And we decided that we're going to have another meeting in the beginning of July to go through the draft and make sure it's exactly what we want it to be as far as presenting it to the boards for their input. So we have one more meeting in the beginning of July, and then after that meeting, we intend on sharing it with the boards for their input.
We're impressed with the pace of government sometimes. It's good.
You know, and you're getting people that have an hour and a half drive to get here. So we set a date and a time where everyone can make it.
Thank you, Jim.
Did I see your hand, Supervisor Bramer?
Is there a date for the next full board meeting of the regional planning board, John, or Walter?
I'm meeting with Dave this afternoon.
Set that out.
Any more questions for Walter from anybody in the room? Supervisor Bramer, I saw your hand go up.
On Mr. Beatty's line of questioning, at the time that you were originally appointed as the executive director, Walter, did the 5 counties approve that appointment?
Yes.
Said that already. Did you say that already? I'm sorry. Okay. The original appointment. I'm not talking about his retirement phase. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions for Walter? Walter, once again, thank you. We appreciate your efforts, and we have a good day. Thank you. Anyone else have any observations, conclusions? Supervisor Beatty.
Yeah, I mean, this is a general observation. When we're dealing, and I said this earlier, when we're dealing with public money, it behooves every single board, every single ABC, CDC, LDC, EDC, and if you notice, just recently, it came out, a report, how some of these organizations are doing a very poor job as custodians of public money, and via loans and so forth. And that's not to say that all of them are bad. Most of them, the vast majority, are good, solid business loans and so forth. But with this Lake George, Lake Champlain Regional Planning Board, there's a number of loans that are questionable, that did not follow their own requirements, that look very suspect in how they handled it, and the fact that we're now getting to the bottom of the fact that there's very little governance It was kind of run amok, and this is a perfect example. When I asked Mr. Young, can you tell me if the 5 counties authorized you to come back to work? He said, no, I sent a letter off that I'm going to work part-time. Well, I don't think anybody in retirement, if I retire, I can send a letter off to you guys and say, oh, by the way, I'm coming back. And thanks, I'm going to just come back part-time. That just doesn't fly. That's almost ludicrous to me. So we got to, to get public trust, we got to do things correctly when it comes to the public money. So we're got a lot of work ahead of us in this. This is not anywhere close to the end of the story. This is, in my mind, beginning of the story. And I have confidence with the new chairman, Mr. Calhoun, or Brian from, Dave O'Brien from Washington County. He's a detailed, get-down, button-down guy, and I think I'm very confident that we got the right guy as the chairman now.
Thank you, Supervisor. Ed, do I see a slideshow coming?
Yes, you do.
You do, okay.
Yes.
Great, go ahead.
Good morning. Just a brief rundown. I know we have a packet coming down at 10 o'clock on our meeting here. But I just wanted again to emphasize a couple of things. The federal opportunity zone that we've talked about in the past in terms of EDC's recommendation to the state for 2 opportunity zones, one in the town in Johnsburg, the entire town, that includes North Creek and the west side of Glens Falls, Census Tract 740 and 702 for Glens Falls, went to the Treasury Department. The Department of Treasury has approved those 2 opportunity zones for New York City area. Again, quickly, the opportunity zone is an investment tax credit that whether you're selling a business and people come in and invest, they hold their investment for a period of 10 years or longer, and then sell, they get a total 100% no capital gain tax with that. That's in terms of a single business or a multitude of a corporation to do so. So we view this as a great opportunity to assist Glens Falls. Equally, or more significant, I think, is the ability to work with Supervisor Hogan, the various organizations in North Creek, and Borda to move North Creek ahead, particularly in the lodging industry for that particular area. What the next step on this process is going to be is ESD is requiring EDC to work with the city and Johnsburg to develop more information in a very short period of time. Supervisor Hogan was helpful in garnering some information to us. What we need to do is provide more details as to what has transpired in investments in North Creek and in Glens Falls over the past 5 to 7 years, as well as advancing out to the concepts that we want to have. And we need to be submitting that in the next week or two to ESD. Once that happens, a portfolio will be developed, and then we will be working with ESD and designated investment firms that we may be aware of or that ESD will be recommending to us. Because again, this is not a grant or approval required by Warren County, by LDC. This is approval by the Department of Treasury. It is a tax credit, and therefore the responsibility, the policy guidance will all be done in interpretation under IRS. So that will be the next step. We have 2 years in which to work with investment firms, as well as other public entities that are involved in this. One of the firms that we've had discussions with already includes Scott Murphy, our former congressman, that is the head of the Capital Investment Company, in charge of new market tax credits, as well as he'll be having this responsibility. We have reached out to other investment firms as well. It's helpful to have an investment firm or firms that have some very good knowledge of Warren County, of what the potential is. And I see great potential for Johnsburg and North Creek in this area, as well as on the west side of the city of Glens Falls. Yes.
Supervisor
Hi, Sharon,
Brandon.
thanks. Do you know if there are any investment or marketing studies related to the railroad corridors used as a multi-use recreation
I don't
trail?
believe there's been any marketing. I think that there has been a lot of discussion, more so probably 3-4 years ago, on constantly it was brought up during the period of time when the rail was an uncertainty.
Well, wouldn't that have been 2011 too, or whenever that was, that
It
OSI was
was
looking?
even earlier. The advocates for removing the rail goes back a number of years because of other precedents in the Adirondacks that has happened. Also, some people had talked about trying to develop a rail adjacent, to the rail. That met with mixed results from the couple of...
Does anybody do studies or put anything on paper?
No, there probably is. I think we could learn from other studies that were done in the area with the conversions in the northern Adirondacks for that. That would be the best bet area for that to happen. I think this is a general feeling that as an alternative to the train, this might be viable. The question comes up is, from the county, do you take up the track and sell that, or do you keep the track in temporarily and perhaps look at an alternative doing the bike trail, pedestrian trail next to the train track, or you just pick that up. Very difficult to run a tourist-related train from Saratoga to North Creek.
That's what I was thinking about, when you guys were talking about the North
Yeah,
Creek.
it's very difficult. The effort in order for a marketing point of view, and again, what has happened is that there is no major lodging in North Creek. So if you're going to come up here without a car and so forth, the skis and the train and go all the way up to North Creek, you want to be able to stay right there. You want to be able to ski in and have some additional retail shops. And that's always the egg and the chicken on this issue. Do you try to entice retail in first, or do you try to do the other? Now, Gore Mountain in Florida, I think, has done a very good job in improving the attendance at Gore Mountain very much. But I think it really needs something like the Opportunity Zone. The county has worked, and the town has worked in the past with Wayne on the various wilderness programs in the Department of State to help in the downtown area. Supervisor is working on sewer. That's another major issue in North Creek that has to be addressed in your downtown area. So I think that part of our outreach will be talking with supervisor as well as once we get all this information in, to talk to the local residents to see how they can be helpful in this process, and as well as other funding availability. I've mentioned in the past that Gore has received $25 million in the last 6 years, for the upgrades, and they're not done yet. They want to do additional materials and variety of activities in the summertime. I mean, you really have to have year-round activities, and I know the Business Alliance, the North Creek, area Chamber of Commerce has done a lot of work with the rafting and so forth. We have a real nice industry in that area of rafting, as well as bicycling and so forth. So I think that that will transcend not just beyond Johnsburg, but into Chester, Oregon, and into that upline area. So EDC certainly would assist Claudia in any issues relative to what the decision is going to be with the train. And this is the county. The county is the lead agency with that. So again, those are slides we have previously given you between North Creek and Johnsburg, and again, those are the key items that I had mentioned in our work in that reactor area. July 27th, Wayne kind of addressed that a little bit. July 27th is our deadline at 4 o'clock for CFAs. We are working with some municipalities in Warren County, as well as businesses throughout Warren County on the potential funding opportunities for them. One of the major issues that we are facing is that the current unemployment rate in Warren County, when we show slides that say the Glens Falls SMA, it really means Warren and Washington County, just not the city of Glens Falls. In May, the unemployment rate for Warren, Washington, Northern Saratoga was 4%. This is only the second time in 18 years that the unemployment rate has been as low as 4% in the area. So that's a very good positive. Yet on the other hand, for businesses that are looking to expand in the area, it really needs a lot of focus and concentration. We are talking to 3 businesses, at least manufacturing in Warren County, that are looking to increase their permanent full-time capacity. Yet one of the things that has to be done is an effective outreach, working through county opportunities, through EDC, through the Department of Labor we've been meeting with, in order to ensure that we have the adequate ability to bring people into Warren County and assist. At 4%, it's very difficult to obtain your employment activities. Recently, it was just announced that Amazon is building a 1 million square foot warehouse in Schodack, off of the interstate in Schodack, New York. That will be minimum wage, but they're looking for 800 to 900 workers when that facility is constructed. It will be a distribution warehouse system for the northeastern area. So what we need to be doing, and we are working with the Department of Labor, we are working with the various interest organizations to be able to attract individuals to look at Warren County to work, and also to look to see how we can make sure that these firms that are looking to expand have the job availability here in this area. And something that is a positive issue to have rather than looking upon it as a problem. 4%. It's very difficult for businesses to be getting additional people. Now that unemployment rate will tip back up a little higher, after the summer and the fall. But still, these firms that we're working with are looking for permanent people, and they're looking for people presently, and I'll have a further announcement on that particular area. Also, that is shown a pie. We'll be distributing this, Mr. Beatty, at the end of the meeting, to show the various employment sectors. This is private sector. This is not public sector information that we have. Again, showing the unemployment rate, which is dipped a little bit below from that chart there. Also, I have an analysis of, again, this is Warren, Washington, Northern Saratoga, your average pay scale in this particular area as well. So, just recently it came out, as we all know, the whole world of hiring has changed from the old days of letter and resumes to being on social media and so forth. And just the other day, they came out with the top 10 areas for ZipRecruiter blog, which shows the Glens Falls, and again, that's the Glens Falls area, just not the city of Glens Falls, but Warren, Washington County. That is fourth in terms of the capability for new-collar jobs. And what new-collar jobs is jobs that may require up to 2 years of SUNY graduation or less than that in areas of technical fields and so forth. But it's interesting to see the other locations that are on this top 10 job markets at this particular time. Again, showing that there are job openings in the area. And I do want to mention we have our Great Escape location for Dr. Kelly. Dr. Kelly is the overseer of the IBM Watson, and also is the head of IBM in terms of cognitive research and development. As well, he was instrumental working with local officials and the Lake George Association, RTI, and others on the Jefferson Project on Lake George. He'll be speaking at our annual luncheon coming up on Monday, July the 2nd. Also on July the 7th, we have an interesting presentation from the author who has written just a new book that has come out relative to the life and death of the Great Lakes. We have 5 Great Lakes. I know for a while we tried to get Lake Champlain in there. We missed on that. But the 5 Great Lakes represents 20% of all fresh surface water in the world, in that particular area. And this author goes through the pluses of what has transpired with the Great Lakes, as well as pointing out the various problems that they have developed over the years, from the Lampreys, which were in the 1940s in the lake. Then came along a number of other areas that caused, through the effort that under federal regulation, the bio material from all shippers and cargoes can continue to dump in the Great Lakes at this particular time. So as a result of this, they've also brought in the zebra mussels, sounds familiar, to the area, and scheduled next to the Great Lakes is shark-like fish that are then entered into the Great Lakes. So that's a major issue we can learn, I think, from that conversation, and it's a very good, quick read book on that. We also have our planning and zoning in the fall that John is working on. And finally, we'd like to mention, without not a lot of details, at C.R. Bard, which has been recently purchased by DB Medical Device Industries last year for $24 million, is hiring full-time permanent positions. I will pass out a flyer. Some very positive news for our region, as we know that Warren County, Queensbury, Glens Falls is really the birthplace of the Caterpillar Industries. So this is a great opportunity for C.R. Bard under the new management to be looking for permanent, and they're hiring now. And it's similar to Global in the sense, Global Foundry in the sense that people apply online for their particular positions. There will be an upcoming job fair that will be announced by C.R. Bard. All their information, you'll have to go to C.R. Bard for in terms of the numbers and so on. But it is positive news. The Department of Labor is involved in working. So that is my...
Thank you very much, Ed. The issue of job creation is certainly a national topic, and maybe piggyback on your comments, Ed. I think Larry Bowman and the pipe fitters really highlight the continuing need for high-skilled, blue-collar employment in our area. So, and good jobs for people that are motivated in that direction. Mike? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just a comment. I know that if you attended the Facilities Committee meeting earlier this week, I did mention, but I wanted to mention it today publicly, that Ed and his team have been supporting me in some of the efforts that I've been pursuing, and I really appreciate their help, and hopefully through this public recognition I can get some more. But I do appreciate what you guys are doing for us, and hopefully we can make something big happen.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further comments, or can I get a motion to adjourn? Supervisor Hogan, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.